Hey Steelers fans! Today we're diving deep into the latest buzz coming out of La Trobe as the team kicks off preparations for the season. If you've been following the Steelers in recent years, you probably know one thing that has driven fans a bit crazy: the sheer predictability on game day. It felt like you could almost script the plays before they happened. And that kind of consistency isn't always a good thing, especially when your opponents catch on. But now, with some fresh faces and a shift in how the coaching staff is thinking about the roster, there's a genuine sense that things might be starting to change. That maybe the Steelers are heading toward a more dynamic, less predictable style of football. And honestly, that's exciting to watch unfold. One of the key storylines coming out of camp revolves around the players who have been drawing a lot of attention: Jaylen Ramsay and John Smith. These guys arrive on the scene with a bit of a question mark hanging over them. We all know the Steelers have certain positions locked down, or at least players who have been established in their roles for some time. So the big question was, how do these new pieces fit in? And the answer, at least for now, is that nobody really knows for sure. What's clear, though, is that the coaches are planning to get them on the field. Mike Tomlin himself said so, but he didn't give much away about exactly where or how they'll be deployed. That makes things really interesting, because Ramsay, in particular, is a player with incredible versatility. He's not just a cornerback or a safety. He's a football player who can do multiple things at a high level. And Tomlin's excitement about him speaks volumes. Tomlin mentioned that when Ramsay was coming out in the draft, the Steelers had him ranked as both their top safety and their top cornerback. That's a rare kind of flexibility. Over his career so far, Ramsay has played outside corner, slot corner, and even safety, showing an appetite for every aspect of the game: man coverage, run support, you name it. That kind of all-around skill set is exactly what the Steelers want to build on, especially if they're trying to shake off the label of being too predictable. Imagine a defense where your assignments aren't set in stone, where a guy like Ramsay could line up near the line of scrimmage one play, dropping back deep the next, mixing things up constantly. That makes it a nightmare for opposing offenses trying to prepare. On the offensive side, John Smith's situation is equally intriguing. He's got a history with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. They worked together in Nashville and Atlanta, so there's a lot of trust and understanding there. While Smith may not replicate the exact production of some of the top receivers from last year, his ability to line up in various positions, whether it's H-back, full-back, slot, adds a layer of unpredictability to the offense. You can't just key on one guy when there's someone shifting around all over the field, and that opens opportunities for others. Whether it's a quick slant to a speedy receiver or a power run behind some of the big blockers the Steelers love to send at defenses. This kind of versatility on offense complements what's happening on defense. A theme of adaptability and multi-dimensional play, of course. The coaching staff isn't trying to reinvent the wheel here. Tomlin and his team have made it clear they're not looking to revolutionize the game overnight. But this subtle shift toward what Tomlin calls positionless football, guys being just football players first, who can step into multiple roles without hesitation, seems to be catching on with the team. Ramsay said it plainly himself when asked about his role: "I'm just going to play football. We'll figure it out together." That attitude is contagious, and it signals a new mindset within the locker room, one that could lead to a much more dynamic Steelers squad. Another interesting angle that surfaced during camp was the discussion about the wide receiver group, especially the ongoing question about who will step up as the legitimate WR2. It's no secret that this has been a point of concern for fans and analysts alike. Veteran Robert Woods chimed in during camp, reminding everyone he's still very much in the mix and considers himself part of the competition. He's known not only for his receiving skills, but also for his blocking ability, which the team values highly. General Manager Omar Khan also addressed the topic, going through the depth chart and expressing confidence in the group overall. That might sound like a typical front office response, but when you think about it, there's logic behind it. Camp is just getting started, and the GM isn't going to throw any player under the bus before the battles have even begun. It's about keeping the team's morale and the competition healthy. Still, the underlying truth remains: the Steelers are actively looking to develop or find a WR2 who can consistently perform at a high level. That might come from within, like Roman Wilson showing progress, or it might require an outside addition later down the line. Either way, the staff seems optimistic enough to hold back on making drastic moves at this early stage. It's a delicate Balance between showing faith in your current roster and knowing when you need to bring in reinforcements. Safety is another critical piece of the puzzle, with Minkah Fitzpatrick's spot now open. Questions about who will step in to fill that void have been front and center. Omar Khan confirmed that Juan Thornhill is part of the plan but made it clear the team is still exploring all options. This openness reflects the complexity of building a competitive roster. The Steelers want to ensure they find the right fit rather than rushing a decision. All these pieces together point to a Steelers team in transition, but with a clear vision to be more versatile, less predictable, and ultimately tougher to game plan against. The first practice days are just the beginning, and the next few weeks will be crucial to see how these ideas translate onto the field. The excitement isn't just about big-name signings or flashy plays, it's about a mindset shift that embraces flexibility and the idea that every player is more than just a position label. That might be the spark this franchise needs to shake things up and surprise a lot of people in the process. Continuing from where we left off, it's impossible to ignore the impact that this new wave of versatility could have on the Steelers' defensive scheme. Mike Tomlin has always been known as a coach who adapts and evolves, and his recent comments about positionless football show that he's fully embracing a modern approach. Players like Jaylen Ramsay exemplify this perfectly. He's not tied down by traditional roles, and that means the defense can shift on a dime, confusing offenses and forcing them into mistakes. The ability to have a player who can line up outside, inside, or deep in coverage and who can blitz, cover, or support the run opens up all kinds of possibilities that previous Steelers defenses didn't really have. When your opponents can't predict where the pressure is coming from or who's going to be responsible for covering their top threats, you gain a huge advantage. In practice sessions and walkthroughs, you can see the effects of this already taking shape. Ramsey's energy and willingness to take on different responsibilities are contagious, inspiring his teammates to embrace flexibility as well. This kind of mindset shift is huge because it moves the team away from rigid textbook roles and toward a more fluid, instinct-driven style of play. And that kind of defensive football is often the kind that wins championships. It's unpredictable, it's aggressive, and it's tailored to maximize the talents of every individual on the roster. Offensively, John Smith's presence in camp has created a similar buzz. His history with Arthur Smith isn't just about familiarity, it's about trust and shared philosophy. Arthur knows exactly what John brings to the table, and he's looking to unleash that in creative ways. The fact that John can line up in multiple spots means the offense can disguise its intentions better, making it harder for defenses to prepare. Instead of setting up with three tight ends and forcing opponents to guess who's going to be the primary receiver, having John shifting between fullback, H-back, and slot gives the Steelers a constantly moving target. This is especially valuable when you combine it with the team's traditional power running game and the speed of receivers like Calvin Austin. Defenses can't just key in on one player or one formation, and that flexibility keeps everyone honest. One of the most intriguing moments from camp was when John Smith simply vanished for a while during one of the reporting days. He was seen walking by himself, disappearing into the hills near the dorm, only to return later without speaking to reporters. This kind of behavior might seem odd on the surface, but it could suggest a player deep in thought, focused on preparing himself mentally and physically for what lies ahead. It's a reminder that behind the scenes, a lot is happening. Players processing new roles, adjusting to new systems, and working to earn their place. This quiet determination might be exactly what the Steelers need from their emerging stars. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be one of the most surprising developments of the offseason, whispers around the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp are growing louder after a reported outburst from veteran defensive lineman Cameron Heyward. According to inside sources, Heyward allegedly said, "I'm not sharing a defense with Patrick Queen anymore," sending shockwaves through the team and fueling speculation of a brewing rift between the two defensive stars. While no official statement has been released by the Steelers organization, the comment has sparked intense debate among fans and analysts. Is this just competitive fire in the heat of training camp, or a sign of deeper locker room friction? Heyward, the heart and soul of the Steelers' defense for over a decade, is known for his leadership and no-nonsense attitude. Meanwhile, Queen A former Raven standout and one of Pittsburgh's most talked about offseason acquisitions, has brought energy and speed to the linebacker corps. But perhaps not without stepping on a few toes. Sources close to the team suggest that Queen's assertive approach and high-profile rival may have clashed with Hayward's established presence. There are even rumors that positional disagreements and defensive scheme tensions have been simmering for weeks. Still, it's important to take this all with a grain of salt. NFL training camps are pressure cookers, and strong personalities sometimes collide in pursuit of perfection. But for a team looking to return to championship contention, unity on the defensive side is crucial, especially when it involves two of its most talented players. Whether this alleged declaration was a moment of frustration or a sign of something deeper, one thing is clear: all eyes are now on Pittsburgh. Will the Steelers diffuse this tension behind closed doors? Or is a defensive shakeup on the horizon? For now, it remains a tantalizing rumor, but in the NFL, where smoke often means fire, this could be a storyline to watch closely. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.